Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to welcome you all in our 49th edition of Sunday Synergy virtual webinar on AI is first, organizations are slow, and how Scrum Master help team adapt. Now, it is very fascinating to see that we have come a long way, right, and covering different type of topics. So we covered artificial intelligence, we covered cybersecurity, we covered data governance, we covered telecom, network evolution, photonics, career counseling, teenage psychology and parenting, some industry academia collaboration, BFSI and whatnot, even travel transport. So we thought like, let's take a step back and go back to our original motto, right, which is AI agile synergy. And somehow I was feeling that agile was taking a backseat, though it is right still in our very much the DNA of our ecosystem. So amidst all these rapid technology changes, one question remains very relevant, even more relevant than ever. How do organizations actually adapt? Now, technology may evolve overnight, but people, teams, culture, and the ways of thinking often don't. And that's exactly where the agility continues to play a pivotal role. Now, like AI came up as a disruption to us, we are also seeing agile is evolving. We are no more kind of sticking to the original agile manifesto that was written back in 2001. Those are relevant, but maybe it's a time to kind of redefine those things, right? Or because agile is all about inspect and adapt. So the roles have evolved. The roles are kind of uh, embracing AI, the disruptions, and then they are also leveraging AI to become more efficient in the real-time workspace. So as AI begins to automate many traditional project activities, from writing user stories to analyzing sprint metrics, is the role of a Scrum Master becoming obsolete or more critical than ever? That's a big question, right, which we need answered. Now, to help us navigate this exciting journey, we are delighted to have with us Mr. Nabarun Mukherjee. Nabarun is an agile coach with 17 years of experience in software delivery, project management, and agile transformation. He also successfully ran his own software consultancy for 10 years, gaining extensive experience in building products and leading teams. A certified Scrum Master, a certified product owner, Nabarun is passionate about helping organizations leverage agile to build resilient team, foster continuous learning, and deliver meaningful business outcome, because that's the key. He's currently working as an agile coach at Intelligent Revenue, where he enables teams to deliver value in the fast-changing environment. Outside of work, Nabarun is an avid trekker who enjoys exploring the mountains and embracing new challenges. So, Nabarun, it's a pleasure to have you with us. Welcome to the AI Agile Synergy Sunday webinar.
Thank you. Thank you.
Also, to steer this conversation, let me welcome Shubhra Haldar, Agile Transformation Lead and RTE from Xerox. So Shubhra is an accomplished Agile coach and a Scrum Master with over 20 years of experience in the software industry. Currently at Xerox, Shubhra leads Agile Transformation and Delivery for Cloud Solutions team, driving efficiency and collaboration across the organization. Shubhra holds multiple certifications, including SAFe 6.0, Advanced Scrum Master, POPM, Certified Scrum Master, Professional Scrum Master, and SAFe Agilist. With a strong background in the software development and product ownership, Shubhra has contributed to a wide range of products and projects, from managed print services and cloud-based analytics to mobile and telecom solutions. Shubhra is recognized for technical leadership, process excellence, and commitment to delivering value, and has received several awards for outstanding performance and innovation. As a part of Xerox AI Inclusion Initiative, Shubhra actively champions an integration of AI-driven practices into team workflows, helping to build organizational intuition and readiness for responsible AI adoption. Shubhra, it's an honor to have you with us. Welcome to AI Agile Synergy and I would request you to steer this conversation moving forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shubho. Thank you for the overwhelming introduction. So without wasting any time, I guess let's straight dive into the discussion, because today we are really having a topic up for discussion which is very relevant for organizations today. So good morning, everyone, and welcome to the 49th edition. As Shubha already mentioned, we are nearing to half century, uh, which will happen probably uh, next week. So, yeah. So to begin with, as Shubha already mentioned, we are actually living in an interesting time where we see AI. It can generate code in seconds. It can create presentation in minutes. It can instantly analyze data, and it can even suggest decisions before we are finished discussing the problem. But despite of all these, organizational change often moves at a very different pace. So processes are slow. Mindsets, again, take a lot of time to shift. Team struggles to adapt. Leaders worry about risks. And many organizations find themselves caught between this excitement and uncertainty. So perhaps we all know that AI is fast, no doubt about that. But the challenge is whether people, teams, and organizations can adapt fast enough. And today's conversation becomes particularly relevant for this, because if there is one role which is designed to help people navigate change, remove obstacles, build learning cultures, and enable adaptation, is nothing but the role of a Scrum Master. So, today's discussion is not about actually that whether AI is going to replace Scrum Master, and I believe it cannot. But then let's discuss how Scrum Masters can become catalysts for helping teams thrive in the AI era. So with that, let's straight dive into the questions. So first of all, when a new technology emerges, fear is often the first reaction. We all know. I mean, we have seen it through with automation, cloud computing, digital transformation, everything. And AI is also no different to it. But then many Scrum Masters are wondering whether tools that automate facilitation, reporting, and analysis could eventually replace their role. So let's start here. Should Scrum Masters be worried about AI replacing them, Navarun?
Yeah, so good morning once again, everyone. Let me start with a funny little paradox that I often share in agile discussions. So, a Scrum Master's ultimate goal is to build a self-managing team in such a good way that one day that team doesn't actually need the Scrum Master anymore. So, in a way, Scrum Master might be the only profession whose success is, measured by making itself, less necessary.
Redundant.
So, yeah. So, yeah. So, does that mean Scrum Master will become unemployed? No. Their role evolves, and once the team becomes self-managing, they can move on to help another team, maybe another department or the organization. Now coming to AI. See, today AI can perform many routine tasks and in a much faster way than a human can do. Like, what are the routine tasks of a Scrum Master? Like, summarize meetings, as Shubhoda mentioned in the starting of the discussion, like summarizing meetings, analyzing sprint matrices, even suggesting retrospective action item. And that is in a much faster speed than a human can do. These all things AI can do currently. But a Scrum Master real job has not been limited to running ceremonies and updating sprint boards and analyzing burn down and velocity charts. So AI can accelerate one part of the role that Scrum Master do, allowing Scrum Master to invest more time in the parts where there is a greater value. See, Power Tool doesn't replace carpenters, right? They simply removed the manual effort so that carpenters can focus more on the craftsmanship. So I believe AI can do exactly the same thing for Scrum Master. But if you ask, will AI replace Scrum Masters who spend more time of their work doing the same thing as AI do? The answer may be yes. So AI won't replace great Scrum Masters, but I think in one day, great Scrum Master can, who embrace AI can replace those who doesn't embrace it.
Perfectly said.
Yeah.
So I think what I can take a cue from your answer is that it is not that AI is replacing Scrum Masters, but it is replacing the part of the job that perhaps Scrum
Exactly.
Master should have stopped doing anyway. So it is no longer required for a Scrum Master to do that. Okay. So moving to the next part, some people argue that AI can make decisions so quickly that structured agile practices may become unnecessary. And others believe that when change accelerates, adaptability becomes even more critical. So with that note, my question to you will be like, as AI dramatically increases the speed of work, does it make agile more important or less important?
See, if we go back to the fundamental purpose of Agile, it was nothing to do with sprint planning, daily Scrum, and retrospective. The sole purpose of adopting Agile is to deliver meaningful values to the end user quickly and continuously. Frameworks and ceremonies are only the enablers, the way to reach the agility. So that's why at the end of every sprint, the ultimate goal is to produce a potentially shippable increment. That term we often refer in, sprint review. So here's where AI can change the game. Like AI can help build the increment much faster than before. It can generate code, it can generate test cases, it can write documentation, it can automate testing, it can assist with deployment, many other things. In a word, AI can significantly reduce the effort required to build an increment. But whether that increment is potentially shippable or not, that part where Agile is much more necessary in this scene. So if you see, according to a survey conducted by McKinsey, that the AI adoption has, I'm talking about 2023 data, AI adoption has been increased from to 2.6 trillion to 4.4 trillion economic annually, particularly in software development field. So it is evident that AI is much necessary to build an increment in a development platform, to build the increment in a much faster way. But again, I'm coming to the point whether that is potentially shippable or not. So there's no doubt AI is, the speed has been increased, but the real question is, because AI builds something faster, does it mean we can deploy it right away? Is it generating the right value that can solve the end user's problem, the pain points of the end user for which we are building that increment? It's defined by whether it solves the real customer problem. Only, that part, if you go back to that part, so that's where Agile becomes more important, to identify those values. How? By continuous feedback loop, and doing customer interview, introspecting whether the things we are building are actually valuable to the customer. For this part, AI is continuously required in this process to validate what we are doing, rather than just creating an increment sprint by sprint. So that introspection is very much necessary, and Agile can play a huge part in this matter, whether we are achieving the value or not.
So if I add to it, one follow-up question: what do you think is the most valuable agile principle that will become in this AI-driven world?
Yeah, for me, it's responding to change over following a plan.
Yeah, change is, even more constant these days.
Yes, and the change is not, by change, it is not necessarily changing in coding or something, changing on mindset as well. Like in which part we are adopting, we'll leverage AI or not. That is also part of, changing mindset. Yeah.
Yeah, well said.
Yeah.
Okay. So we often hear executives saying that we have the tool, but adaptation is low. adoption is low. Now, technology can be deployed overnight. I think Shubho already mentioned that during the introduction. But then mindsets and behavior often cannot. We all know mindsets definitely take time to change. So, why do you think organizations find it so difficult to adapt, even when the opportunity is obvious?
See, I believe the biggest challenge is not the technology. It's something else. I'm coming to that. So, as per I was going through another survey done by McKinsey in 2023, and they found that the 55% of the organizations globally have adopted AI in at least one of their business processes. And I'm talking about 2023. The numbers has much increased in 26. But adopting AI isn't the same as adapting to AI. Like, I think there are two major reasons for this. What I have observed. Number one, many organizations are treating AI like advanced search engine. Whatever they do with Google search earlier, they are doing the same thing in ChatGPT nowadays. Not as a thinking partner. They use AI to generate answers without understanding the real problem, what they are trying to solve. I have seen that. For example, I have seen teams ask AI to write user stories, generate code, write test cases, and so many things. That's great. But very few pause to ask, do we really understand the customer's problem? Or are we solving the right problem in the first place? See, we all know AI is excellent in answering questions, but if you answer the wrong question, AI will lead you to the wrong direction very rapidly and in a much faster way. So this is one aspect. The number two is many organizations still have a long approval chains, siloed departments, fixed annual plans, and a culture where people are not, encouraged in experimenting and learning. So let me tell you in my experience in one of the latest agile workshop in a PSU organization. So we were delivering the usability of AI, and they have rightly understood that yes, AI will be much more useful in our cases. But somebody asked in that seminar that we can buy a AI license in one click, but that needs a 5 rounds of approval. So that is the real challenge that many organizations are facing nowadays. So because we are living in AI era, technology may give organizations new capabilities, but mindset determines whether those capabilities become the real business value or not.
Yeah, I mean, to add on that, there's a other story also. Like I have seen organizations where there is no problem with approval, but then there's a issue with clarity, I would say, because
Right.
everybody starts using AI just because they have to use AI without knowing that what is the actual problem that they are trying to solve and whether it is worth to use AI or not. So yes, that is the real problem, and this I believe is a very much debatable topic these days.
Right.
And to follow up on this, in your experience, Navarun, like what is the biggest barrier that you feel? Is it culture, leadership, structure, fear, incentive? What do you think?
Mix of everything. Like if you are the biggest, that is still, I would say, the mindset.
Yeah, and from my experience, I would say not only mindset, maybe a lack of clarity. Because
definitely,
until and unless we have clarity, it is even if we get the approvals, we just use it blindly for n number of reasons, which ultimately might not solve any problem at all. And in the go, we are actually spending a lot of money.
Right.
Okay, so moving to the next part. AI is already handling many activities that traditionally consumed Scrum Master's time. Like, I think Shubha has already mentioned about that, meeting summaries, metric analysis, documentation. Even now we have this voice analysis to detect the sentiments during retros and all. So if AI takes over these tasks, what's left? The question is, where does a Scrum Master create the most value in an AI-enabled environment?
See, as I mentioned in my first answer, there are so many areas where Scrum Masters can create a value. And if you look at the Scrum guide, which is for us, which is the Bible of Scrum, we always refer to that. So as per Scrum guide, their responsibilities go far beyond facilitating Scrum events or analyzing sprint metrics. A Scrum Master responsibilities can broadly be grouped into three areas: towards the developer, towards the product owner, and towards the organization. So let's start with the developer. A Scrum Master role is to coach the team to become truly self-managing and cross-functional, so they don't depend on someone else's to do their day-to-day decisions. They help the team that stay focused on creating high-value increments, removing impediments, and foster environment of collaboration.
No.
Yeah. Hello.
Okay.
Okay. And foster a trust and continuous improvement. Now, if you say all these things looks good in a paper, as a theory, but it is very hard to implement those things in a team. So if we simply read it from the Scrum guide, it can sound like another set of good intentions. The real question is how you can make these things happen to a team. Let me share some of the things that I do in my organizations. So we conduct regular knowledge sharing sessions, I'm in a product development company. So regarding the product knowledge and the domain knowledge, whatever comes to us as a new knowledge, we always share that within the team. We always do it on a regular basis. We do the knowledge sharing session among all the team members so that everybody is aligned on the same page regarding the value, what we are trying to achieve. We conduct an event called Meaningful Wednesday. That is, I have initiated in this organization. So every second Wednesday of every month, we conduct a session where each team member shares anything that he learns new. It may be a habit, it may be a philosophy, it may be a tool, it may be a framework, and he shares how how that added value to their life and how we can adapt this to the team. So these things we do it regularly. Apart from that, we do workshops on a regular basis that hugely helps us in team building and collaboration. So all these things, if we do it, with an activity that is much easier to explain to the team. What is truly mean by self-managing? What is truly mean by transparent, collaborative environment? All these things. Because self-management doesn't happen by giving lectures. Then I'm coming to the second responsibility of a Scrum Master. So towards the product owner and the stakeholders as well. So a Scrum Master acts the biggest bridge between product owner and stakeholder in a Scrum team. They facilitate stakeholder collaboration to ensure that product backlog reflects the most business value that it needs. They help the product owner to refine clear and concise product backlog. The priority based on customer value and ensure everyone shares the same understanding before the team starts building. So that is another important aspect. That is actually the product backlog refinement session. So before that, we make sure that stakeholder and the product owner is on the same page regarding the value of the product, what we are trying to achieve. Based on that, whether product owner is prioritizing the product backlog items or not, that is also a responsibility of a Scrum Master, whether they are doing that in a regular basis. And finally, towards the organization. This is where the Scrum Masters can create another biggest long-term impact, I guess. Like they help leaders to understand empirical decision making, decisions based on feedback evidences rather than assumptions. They work to remove organizational barriers as well, such as what I have mentioned earlier, functional silos, long approval chains, conflicting priorities, and communication gaps as well. So, between stakeholders and Scrum teams. So when people ask me where Scrum Master creates a value in the age of AI, my answer is very simple. AI can support many activities the Scrum Master performs, but it cannot replace the human side of it, like coaching, collaboration, organizational change. And that's a great Scrum Master can enable within an organization. So these are the things, I guess, a Scrum Master can do, and it make them a difference with a normal Scrum Master and a great Scrum Master by not only doing the ceremonies and conducting events like that. So these are the responsibilities, I guess, makes a huge
Yeah,
difference.
well said, Navar. Like, I also agree to you. Coaching is something that I believe AI can never replace, because, and on the other note, if we give AI this responsibility of coaching, it might turn the other way. We were
Exactly.
having a debate on this, that AI be used as a coach, and not with respect to Scrum Masters or organizations, maybe with respect to our children, in some other discussion. And I believe, I mean, it will be a very negative thing that will turn out if we give that coaching responsibility to AI. So
Exactly. I mean,
yes,
AI can give you data for analysis, but based on that, how we can mold it that is beneficial to the team as well as the organization, that decision has to be made by the Scrum Master.
exactly. And the data also, like whatever we are feeding, whatever happened
Yeah.
in the past, from that only it can say, but it cannot invent on its own and give some suggestion. That
Right,
I
right.
believe human has that ability to decide on what decisions can be applied based on the situation that we are having in front of us. So yeah, so moving to the next part, many organizations have Scrum ceremonies. We all know we have Jira boards or ADO or whatever tool we use. We have sprint reviews. Yet we see business outcomes often fail to improve. So it's almost as if they have adopted agile practices without adopting agile thinking. So now the question is, what is the gap between doing agile and being truly adaptive?
Yeah. This is a classic debate in agile scenario, being agile and versus doing agile. So I have seen many organizations as well that I mean they have become very good at doing agile. They conduct sprint planning, daily scrum, sprint review, retrospective, and there's a neat and clean burn down chart like this staircase, neat and clean burn down. I've seen, but as you mentioned in your question, like despite doing all of that, many teams still struggle with changing priorities, delay releases, and unhappy stakeholders. Why? Because doing agile is about following the framework, as I always said. And being agile is about embracing the mindset. Let me give you an example. Like, imagine a team is halfway through a release when a major customer says that this feature is no longer our priority. A team that only doing agile sees it as a disruption because it affects their plan. But a team that's truly being agile sees it as a new information. Like they collaborate with the product owner, they reprioritize things and adapt. Because their goal is not to protect the plan. Their goal is to maximize the customer value. And that's exactly where the Agile Manifesto means by responding to change over following a plan. I often ask teams in my organization, like if your biggest customer changes priorities today, how quickly you can adapt? And the answer tells me how agile they are, rather than whether they conduct daily scrums or, daily scrums in the morning every day. So coming back to your question, like if you ask me what's missing, it isn't another agile ceremony. It's the agile mindset that is missing. Yeah.
Right. So if I add to it, like I've also experienced similar stuff, and there's a misconception that most of the people hold, is that following, whether it is Scrum or Safe or whatever it is, it means that we have to stick to the plan that we have made. And
Yes.
I believe that is not what Agile says. Agile itself is like tells us to deliver value, to be more adaptive. So change, we cannot obstruct change coming in within the plan that we have already made, because change is constant, we all know. But
Exactly. And
then this misconception is there with everybody that we have made our plan. So if the plan is getting broken, if something is coming and we have to adapt, then it's like a total mess in the plan that we are doing. No, we
Exactly.
should be adaptable enough to, reorder our plan and move something out and bring something in, so that we can actually deliver what is the most valuable to the customer.
Yeah, and another biggest misconception what I have seen is like for the daily Scrum. So most of the people think it's a place for status update, but I
Yes,
have done, and that is, something that is linked to what you have said just now. Like in the daily Scrum, the main purpose is how much aligned we are with the goal that we are moving, product goal or the
exactly.
sprint goal. So that is not the daily status update. Many people, many teams think it's a place for
I mean,
daily
not
Scrum.
only daily Scrum, I would say I have seen teams thinking PO Sync also,
Yeah.
as that we have in SAFE. PO Syncs also as a status meeting where everybody comes in and says how much is done and then goes off. So it is not the way that it should be. Okay, so I'm seeing a common thread emerging here. AI is accelerating work, but adaptability remains a human capability. And then perhaps organizations don't have an AI problem, they have a learning problem. So let's explore further. So many organizations still reward certainty, predictability, and avoiding mistakes. Yet AI requires experimentation, continuous learning, and rapid adaptation. So my question to you is, what mindset shifts do teams and leaders need to make to thrive in the AI era?
Okay. So I think the AI era is asking us to rethink about the way we work, the way we lead, and even the way we learn. For me, there are three important changes in the way we think. The first is moving from having the right answers to asking the right questions. Earlier, success often depends who gives the right answer and who has the most knowledge. Today, AI can provide knowledge in seconds, but we have to ask the better questions. So AI will give brilliant answers. There is no doubt in that. Only if we ask brilliant questions. Now the second, moving from certainty to experimentation, as you have mentioned in your question. Like many organizations still spend months trying to create the perfect plan before taking the action. But in a world that is changing every week, I would say every day, waiting for the certainty often means falling behind nowadays. Instead, teams need to experiment, learn from real feedback, and adapt quickly. And that is exactly the mindset behind the Scrum. Inspect, adapt, and improve continuously. And the third shift, I guess, moving from intelligence, the individual intelligence to collective intelligence. So AI is incredibly powerful nowadays. There is no doubt in that. But business success relies more from AI working alone. It comes from people with different skills collaborating, like challenging assumptions and making better decisions together. The best team is not where AI only taking the decision, but they are working hand in hand with the experienced people who has the earlier domain experience with that. Their value and their mindset also matters in building successful product. So the best team won't be the one with the smartest AI. They'll be the one where humans and AI complement each other's strength. So yeah, if I summarize this mindset shifts that I believe, I would say from having answers to having rely on answers to asking better questions, from seeking certainty to embracing experimentation, and from individual expertise to collective intelligence. Yeah.
So if you had to pick one mindset shift that creates biggest impact, what would it be?
I would say the second one, from certainty to embracing experimentation. Until and unless you do that, you cannot cope up with the era that is daily changing. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. So not everything should be delegated to AI. I mean, this doesn't need a discussion. We all know. trust, ethics, empathy, then stakeholder relationships, and difficult judgment still uh, needs, I mean, still matters, right? So, question to you would be whether organizations should aggressively embrace AI, and I mean, where actually organizations should aggressively embrace AI, and where should human firmly be in the driver's seat?
Yeah, I believe the answer lies in understanding the strength of AI and the strength of people. The most successful team won't choose one over another. They'll know how to combine both effectively. Let me share a few examples, what we do in our own team in my organization. So one example is we don't have any UI designer these days. So we have the Anthropic Claude license, and what we have done as a, setup, like we have added all the skills as per our brand guideline, design parameters, previously designed UX screens and wireframes. We have fed all these things as a skill to Claude. And whenever there is a need for any screen that needs, UI design while doing the development work, developer can generate that himself. And AI is looking after what is our predefined, that is whether that is matching with the brand guideline, color, other UI things. So we review that in a short meeting and we start implementing that. So there is no time in doing a design, approving it from another UI designer or UI developer. So we get much more time to concentrate on the value addition in that increment. Another thing is creating a documentation while working on a new module of the product. So we have to rely on the business analyst to create the actual documentation, what value it generates, and based on that we break up stories and then start development. Nowadays, what happened? As I said, we conduct regular knowledge sharing sessions, so everybody is aligned with the knowledge what we are trying to deliver in terms of a new module or the overall product and all these things. So we have some documentation. What is the outcome of that documentation? We have added those skills as well to Claude. And as everybody is aligned with the product value that we are trying to achieve, so they can generate their own prompt. Even the developer who is developing that new module, they can create that prompt and generate the documentation that is required as a development step. What are the development steps based on the, what is the value of that particular product module? And then again, we do the same thing. We review that document and jump into development. Obviously, we break down into user stories and jump into development. So this is another thing where we, saves a lot of time and investing that time into the building that increment more scalable and secure. So instead of waiting, earlier what happened? Instead of waiting days for design approvals, documentation approval cycle, we now complete the entire process within a few hours. So that is, that is again, the AI removes the dependency. Here, we are using AI to remove the dependency. What are the manual works we used to do earlier, and AI automate those things. And our team owns the decision. So let me give you another example in the development scenario. So in the development, we follow the solid principle and modular structure, and what is that called, OWASP top 10 or something. There is security top 10. So
Yeah.
all these principles, guidelines, architecture, we take time, we take months, our senior developers, to convert them into a skill, AI skill, and feed it to the Claude. And when a developer is started developing, they don't have to think much whether this is, this development is going as per the OSAWP top 10 or the modular architecture. That is already taken care by the AI, as we fed that knowledge earlier. So again, they can concentrate on more, value building part. So that frees them spend more time asking a more important question, like whether it is generating a value rather than how fast we are developing this. So now, does that mean we blindly trust AI generated code? Absolutely not. That's where humans stay firmly in the loop. So every piece of code we generate, I mean, every significant change goes through a strong peer review process before we merge into the development or maybe the beta environment. Because AI can generate code, only experienced engineers can validate whether those are right code in this context. And so for me, the principle is simple, like use AI to demonstrate knowledge and remove impediments, keep humans responsible for judgment, validation, and accountability. So both the things can go hand in hand to build a better implement. Yeah.
So, what warning signs tells you that we have become too dependent on AI? This is a follow up on what you said.
Yeah, as I said, sometimes developers, what they do, they simply copy and paste whatever code they have received from AI. And that is where, as I mentioned, so that is a very dangerous thing. So that is where I mentioned we have a strong peer review process. And in the not only the engineers who are doing the peer review and merge, they rectify those things. They make sure that those things doesn't happen repeatedly. And they, in sometimes if that is too fatal, they sit one-to-one conversation with the concerned developer or those things, like so that it doesn't happen in a regular basis. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So coming to the next part. So many organizations rush into AI initiative because everyone is doing it. We already were discussing about this a bit earlier. Some start with technology instead of problems, and others buy tools without changing behaviors. So now the question is, what is the single biggest mistake you see organizations making with AI adoption?
I think the biggest mistake is starting with the tool instead of the problem. Very often I have seen conversation begins with which AI tools should we buy? But I think the better question is what problem we are trying to solve using that tool.
Exactly.
So let me share an example once again from my organization, what we do. So when we decided that we are going to leverage AI, especially for development purpose, we didn't immediately subscribe to the first AI coding assistant that came across. We first identify the actual challenges that our developers were facing. Then we evaluated several AI tools, like we have the ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, Cursor. There are several tools we have evaluated. Based on that, we have we came across that the Cursor is best suitable for the way that our developers do, the way they build that increment. Cursor will be the best suitable for our purpose. So we didn't choose Cursor because it's most popular in development scenario. We choose it because it is the right fit for our context. So I think that's where many organizations get it wrong. They adopt AI because everyone else is doing it, as Shubham mentioned. Like everyone else is doing it, that let's try that out. That's technology-driven thinking. Instead, Agile teaches us how to start with the problem and then choose the best solution. Otherwise, AI will remain just an individual productivity tool rather than becoming an organizational capability. Yeah.
Exactly. I think this is happening. This is actually happening. Most of the organizations are feeling that FOMO, and they just want to use AI because everybody else is using, instead of really thinking out what problem they're trying to solve and whether it's worth to use AI for that problem, or is there a better solution.
Right.
So yes. So moving to the next part, we often make transformation sound complicated. everybody thinks, oh my God, what is it going to be? But then sometimes one small habit can change or it can create outsized impact, right? So the question to you will be like, if every Scrum team adopted one new habit tomorrow that would prepare them for the AI era, what would that be?
Uh,
And why?
I think, I mean, the one habit that I would like every Scrum team to stay away from is the temptation to jump straight into execution. Like today, it's easier than ever. A requirement comes in, AI generates user stories, create design, write code, and even suggest the test cases within minutes. The temptation is to immediately start building. But here comes the mantra I always keep saying: pause, reflect, then deliver. Like pause before opening your ID or prompting the AI. Take a moment to understand the real customer problem, what we are trying to solve. Then reflect on the value you are trying to generate. Like ask for that, you regularly ask questions like why we are building this, or who benefits from it, and only then deliver. Because once the intent is clear, AI became an incredible accelerator. In our team, we constantly spend time understanding the business context and expected outcome before we ask AI to help, like help to implement a situation or a piece of code. That small habit saves us from building features that were technically correct, but didn't create the expected business value. And again, I'll repeat the same words and leave everyone with this thought, like in the AI era, speed is no longer the biggest concern. Clarity is. Because when you are clear about the problem, AI can help you deliver the solution much faster.
Right. Okay. So usually we have a rapid fire round at the end, but I've kept a single question for the end.
Yes.
So let's move in the rapid fire round before that. So the first question is one word that will define successful team in 2030.
I think adaptability. Adapting to new
Okay.
changes and new technology shifts. Also with the mindset as well.
Okay. One skill every Scrum Master should learn this year.
I'll always say it's coaching. Yeah.
Okay. One activity AI should definitely handle.
The repetitive work in administration, maybe.
Okay. And one activity AI should never fully own.
Judgment.
Okay. One mindset organizations need to abandon.
Control everything.
One capability leaders need more of.
I'd say curiosity.
Okay. AI, threat or opportunity?
Neither. I think it as a accelerator. Like if you, if you are in a wrong way and asking wrong questions, it will lead you much faster in a wrong direction. And if you are going in a right direction and asking the right questions, it will give you, the right situation in a much earlier way. Yeah.
Okay, good one. Change management in one word.
It should be continuous.
Okay. Yeah, because change is continuous. Best indicator of adaptability.
How fast you are learning speed, maybe.
Okay. Human skill that becomes more valuable as AI advances.
Always empathy for me.
Definitely. I also agree to you on this. Okay, let's now go into the last question, which I've intentionally kept for the end. So we talked about AI, agility, organizational change, and human adaptability. Let's look ahead. So 5 years from now, what will separate exceptional Scrum Masters from average Scrum Masters?
Nice question. So I often say that AI may become the smartest member of your team, but it should never become the wisest. Wisdom comes from experience. empathy, context, and understanding people. So if I had to describe the Scrum Master of future, I think they'll spend less time on facilitating Scrum, as I said earlier, and more time facilitating the change. So they will coach leaders to move away from command and control and micromanage as well. They'll help product owners to make better value-driven decisions. They'll help the team that continuously learn, openly shares knowledge, and confidently experiment. There should be psychological safety as well. And perhaps most importantly, they'll know what to trust AI and when to challenge it. So yeah, these are the things I think I want to see the skills that a future Scrum Master should have, and that will make the difference of a average Scrum Master and what you have said, the great Scrum Master.
Exceptional Scrum
Exceptional.
Masters. Okay. I think we have come to the end of the question and answers, and we can now open it up for the audience if there are any questions. Anybody? Are there any questions?
I have few, but I would rather others to go first.
Anybody has any questions?
Go ahead.
Yeah, Sujata, please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. It was a very good discussion. But one thing that I want to know from the Scrum Master's point of view, did you come across any drawback of using AI, and you think that traditional way was better?
Okay, so as I said earlier, it depends upon you whether you are giving the right context to the AI. But yes, I have seen only the advantage part. I have not seen any, disruption in the way we do scrums and practice agile. I have seen only the enabling part, and it always keeps on accelerating. But again, if we ask the wrong question and if you give the wrong context, AI will lead you to the wrong direction. But for me, it always been an enabler, and it helps me a lot in doing all the roles that a Scrum Master does.
I think not only that, it also depends on what responsibility we are handing it over to AI.
Yes.
That
Right.
matters, because there is something that we should never hand it over to AI, especially being on the coaching part, which is a very important role that a Scrum Master plays. And rest all stuff, what we usually think our Scrum Masters jobs are actually something that needs to be taken care of AI, like the regular facilitation part or summarizing something. Those are actually stuffs that AI can do better, leaving the Scrum Master to more important thing, which is coaching. So yes, it
No,
depends on what we are.
absolutely. AI has a lot of advantage, but from a human perspective, like in the Scrum Master role, I just wanted to understand, is there something that sometimes at work, what I have at an individual level, irrespective of the role, what I have found is that with AI, definitely it gives you a lot of advantages, but at the same time, we have to be very very vigilant of the output that is being generated. So it's always like there is a smart team member, as he mentioned, but at the same time, it should not be over smart. So we have to be very very vigilant on what the output is, and keep a constant look on that. So yes, delegate, but you should have a complete eye on what it is delivering.
Yeah, that HITL, or the human in the loop, will should actually never go off, right? Because there is a high chance of getting into something which we might not want to pass out because of the judgment. So yes, yeah, you rightly said, Sujata.
And
Now
another
you want to
example which just came in my mind, that is also we are doing regularly in our, it is done by me as well as a Scrum Master. So we have recently moved from Jira to Zoho Sprints. So what I do actually to find the where the site, where the overwork or any member is overloaded with items. So what we do at the beginning of the day, I used to export the sprint statistics from those sprint, and I have written a prompt based on various parameters, and that is added to the skill, and I generate a daily planner based on those exported data that is exported in Excel form. So it clearly gives me an clear picture that which team member is overloaded right now, and what would be the ideal work distribution among team members. Who can, again, it is as an agile team, it is self-managed. Team member can do pick their pull their work from sprint backlog, but I can advise them as an enabler. Like, you can think it like this way: as this member is currently preoccupied with many tasks, and here this is long pending, and we also do the aging report as well. Like, this is long pending, this feature, you can distribute these things to this team member. He is comparatively easy. And there are so many areas, so many metrics, so many hidden things which cannot be seen in a sprint board. And AI helps me to identify all those things in a better clarity, in a much more clear picture. So I used to do these things as well.
Yeah. Any other questions, anybody?
Okay, if no one has question, I have a question. Let me wear a devil's advocate hat here. Now, you work in a small setup, right, which is a startup-like organizations, or maybe a little more than that. But when it comes to a big organizations, right, with a lot of bureaucracy, a lot of challenges, etc., what we are often seeing these days, the Scrum Master roles are not allowed to work exactly the way they are supposed to do, right? So they have been given targets. And in fact, there are some organizations, they do not want to keep the Scrum Master. They are saying project managers can play the role of a Scrum Master. Right? And that is not only happening in one or two organizations, any organizations, even if you go for an interview to big organizations, so-called, right, big organizations, you will be asked a lot of questions in terms of metrics, in terms of delivery target, in terms of etc., etc. So how dangerous is that? And even if we understand that how dangerous is this trend, is there any way to, because see, everyone is running after some number and they are looking for a productivity improvement, etc., etc. So how can we do a right balancing act? We do understand about, right, what you rightly said, all the correct practices that we are doing, but how difficult are those things? Or how realistic is that we can inculcate these practices into a real-time challenging situation in such quote-unquote bureaucratic organizations?
I again say it's coaching. Like, things should be done in both ways. Like, the organizations have to, think like this is not a task. Like, if you give a target or something like that, and you have, that is not ideal. That is not achievable. If they think that there might be a problem, and what problem they can arise after maybe 2 or 3 sprint, after a few months, they have to visualize that. And Scrum Masters are the best person to let them understand what devastating thing can happen if you keep repeating this habit.
Right.
So this thing they can coach to the upper management. Also, the management should understand the, agile values. I'm not talking about the ceremonies and Scrum, all these things. The basic agile values, as you have, as Shubhoda, you have mentioned in the introduction, like the agile values are changing. I would say agile values remains the same in these days. The definitions, the way it was defined in earlier days, the definition has been changed.
Yeah.
So here, AI can help in a great extent. Like, whether that is achievable or not, AI can give you a matrix or a visualizations that a Scrum Master can present to the stakeholder, whether that is realistic or not, that target. And yes, the AI can also help you to sort out things and generate the best output from a team. But if you pressurize, if you keep on, putting pressure to the team, as I said earlier, that will be a devastating effect in maybe after 1 or 2 months. And the management should understand it. And Scrum Master are the best person to make it understand to the upper management. Yeah,
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah, I guess Scrum Master's coaching not only implies to the team that
exactly.
they're in, it also implies to the leadership. And when time comes, uh, I mean, the right way of doing is showing the impact. It can be good, it can be bad. So if you can show that this is the impact that it will create, whether if it is a good impact, this is the benefit that you will get. If it's a bad impact, so this is the effect that will impact your team. It can be team moral, it can be anything. So if
Definitely.
that impact is made visible, I guess it is the easiest way to coach the leadership.
Yeah.
Because
The sad thing is that today everybody thinks Scrum Master as facilitator, and they will organize events. They will,
yes,
they will check the time box and all these
that
things.
is the biggest
Yes,
myth.
biggest
Is the
myth.
biggest myth.
Right.
And I actually, if you see, AI is actually helping to resolve that myth, because it is trying to take away the staffs that are actually not supposed to be a part of our job.
Right.
The Scrum Master job is supposed to be a more impactful stuffs like creating value for the team or coaching the team. So in that way, it is also accelerating to break down that myth that is already there.
In a better way.
So
Yes.
in a better way. Yes. Any other questions?
Shubhra, I have a question. I was just thinking through. So Nobarun did mention that with AI, tracking of different metrics, etc., is becoming easy. We get to know if the team has bandwidth, right? So on and so forth. But do you think that now that we are introducing AI to also to track different kind of performance data, teams' performance data, metrics, etc., they are becoming highly visible, right? Do you think is this introducing any kind of psychological safety amongst the team, as in the developers or the team feeling that they are constantly being watched and judged, right? So how can these scrum masters set the right boundaries, right, to ensure that such kind of tracking or monitoring is used uh, more for mentoring or coaching rather than being more watchful and kind of a punishing thing?
See, AI can give you data, as you have rightly said, but make a, I mean, create a picture, create an impact based on those data. Like based on those data, AI can predict that this team is low performing because Mr. X has contributed less time in this sprint. But why this person is less productive in this sprint, that answer AI cannot give you. That should be judged by the Scrum Master. Maybe with a one-to-one interview with that person, why he's less productive, and why he's not concentrating on work much. As much as we expect from him. Maybe he has got a breakup. So he is upset, and that judgment, AI shows you the picture, like this person is contributing less in this particular sprint. But that is the part of Scrum Master to identify what is the reason behind that.
So that
To make
coaching is
judgment.
definitely Scrum
Coaching,
Master
definitely.
should
And
be
also,
doing. And
to identify the real problem behind that, the real human problem. So AI cannot identify the human problem. Thank God, as of now. So he can identify what is the reason behind that. Maybe he can coach him, he can mentor him, so that he can come out of that situation and become a more, much more productive for the upcoming sprint. Yeah, that's what I think.
Okay.
So I would like to add a separate thing on this. I mean, what Novarun said is absolutely correct. But then there's also one more thing that needs to be mindful, that what we are exposing to the leadership team. So all these metrics, all this data that we were just talking about, those are actually meant uh, for the improvement of the team. It is
Exactly.
not meant
Exactly.
to be exposed to the leadership. So leadership is not supposed to know what my X or Y team members or how they are
True.
performing. That
Yes.
performance is based on completely based on improvement of my team, so that
Mm-hmm.
I can help my team to improve the work they're doing or the way they're working. So it is totally for coaching my team. It is not for the leadership to look into those metrics and have some perception based on that this person is having a low productivity. That person. This is a very uh, apt topic. Thanks for raising this question.
Correct.
I think it is us, the Scrum Masters or the RTs or coaches or whatever you
They have
say.
a big role to
So,
play here.
exactly.
You have to be
We
very mindful that they expose or bring up the right thing, and they use only this data for the correction perspective to enhance the performance of the team.
Exactly. Just because AI is able to give us metrics, it doesn't mean that we are supposed to expose all the metrics to everybody. So we have to apply our judgment there to think out that which are the right metrics that we should expose to the leadership, and that will help them, because these are kind of metrics that leadership should anyway not be interested in, because it otherwise it will simply be micromanagement, that they want to be interested in so and so person working in a particular team. So it is on us how we do, because as part of a Scrum Master, I think Scrum Master's role, it is also important to protect your team.
Right.
And these are simply the stuffs that will impact, it can impact their model. So if a team member gets a call from a first line or second line or leadership above that why you are not performing, it is also a distraction to them, right? So yeah, I mean, it is our job to think through which metrics we really want to expose and which we not. Yes, Moina, go ahead.
Yeah, good morning. Thank you, Shubha and Nabaran, for this nice topics. Mine is not a question as such, but more of an observation for the forum. Like what I'm seeing, the success of agile ways of working largely relies on a top-down approach of the organizations. Okay, if the top leadership is not convinced on the success of agile, it will not percolate down in terms of execution.
Exactly.
And what we are seeing, like during every quarter or half-yearly meeting, we tend to decide the go-live dates and work backwards. So what is happening? It has become a predictive agile. It's like a mix of neither this or that. We decide the end date and then we break down into sprints and think we are doing agile. And we end up following milestones rather than actually, I know the agile ways of working where we see that unpredictability and defining the change, we get caught up in too much of rigidity. So the leadership always in the steer co and always asks, where are we in terms of progress, rather than the overall gaining in terms of the direction of the organizational growth towards the agile maturity. We tend to get caught up in the old ways of working, which is like tight deadlines and all. And therein where the scrum masters get caught up in between, do we go for maintaining the timelines or do I go for the overall performance or productivity enhancement of the team or the self-organizing team? So these goes for a toss. So this is like a observation, not like, but I don't know what is the right answer or approach. But most of the organizations now get mixed up in doing hybrid and end up, neither satisfying this or that.
Yeah, well said, Moina. I will come. I have some point of view on this. I will come to it later. But I see two hands. One, Shudokina, you have a question.
Yeah. No, I have a very basic point here because see, all the metrics, they are primarily defined on three parameters, right? Time, budget, and quality or performance. Okay. So all these are heading towards a better customer experience. What Moina just mentioned, that we are defining our endpoints, we are defining the goals, and we are chasing those goals. I mean, through our all the stakeholders, whether it is the team, whether it's the leadership team, whatever. The end point or the end result is the customer experience. are they having improved experience? Because that is what agile is all about, to inch towards their actual requirement, which the waterfall model and others could not bring in. So that is what my point is, that how do we ensure that whether it's AI incorporated in the system or whether it's in advanced human thinking, whatever it comes to, are the customers happy end of the day? So this is what my uh, the question is, that what are we doing towards that?
Nabaran, would you like to take it?
Yeah, actually, it's a mix of both. I mean, our main goal is to make the customer happy. Whatever we do agile towards fixed goal that we should make our customer happy. And all the metrics and data we have to check. And as you have said, AI is giving all the data that related to particularly for those three areas. Now, we have to analyze whether those data and those metrics are going towards and giving value to the what customer needs, and that can be done with a continuous feedback loop, I guess, validating whether they are giving benefits to what actually the customer is facing or not. Like, is it removing the main pain points whether the customer is facing? That can be done in a continuous feedback loop with the customer who actually receives that value. So we have to, create a continuous feedback loop process with the customer value by asking customer itself whether they are getting the value, by asking the same question repeatedly to the customer after each and every deployment.
And a very democratic environment ecosystem also is needed, so that you
Definitely.
value customers' feedback, and the one who brings that feedback is also valued. So
Yeah,
that is
exactly. And
important.
customer is
Thank
the
you.
best person to tell you that whether the value is achieved or not.
Yes,
Because,
yes.
yeah.
So nicely you have said, Navarun. Thank you so much. And thanks to
We are
Shubhra as well.
mostly
Very good moderation. Yes.
driven by the delivery, but we often miss out that the incremental delivery that we are doing, and the review that we are doing, the importance of getting feedback is very much relevant for the whole process to be successful. So those incremental reviews are very important. Collecting the feedbacks are very important. Then again, if I say, like, we have a way of defining our done, so we can set that as a point that we ensure we collect feedback from the customers, and we work on it whether we have actually delivered a value or not. So these all are something that I think needs a focus, not only from the team level but from the leadership level as well. So yes, delivery is important, and getting the feedback from the customers is also important to improve the delivery.
Yeah, that makes the delivery a valuable delivery. Yeah.
Yes, Mriganko, you have a question.
Yeah, my question is follow up with what you already discussed. Like, um, since with the help of AI now, the matrix is available to the management as well. So it's become very hard for Scrum Masters to shield the team and protect it because what initially the Scrum Master used to work upon with the metrics and share with the management now is openly available to management. So it's becomes very hard to protect the team from management to say that a person is performing or not performing, whether needs guidance or not. So that may not come back to the team or the Scrum Master to ask for the reason, like why this person is not performing. It may be directly taken action. So to to protect the team from such an evasive action, what do you think? Uh, any steps could be taken, or how could we proceed with that?
I think
Navarro, would you like to go?
properly coaching the management team, like the data and metrics gives the direction, but that doesn't give you the conclusion. Like they can, so as you have mentioned, the matrix is open to all nowadays. So they can see that, yes, the output is low, but before going to the team itself and doing the micromanagement, they can ask, Scrum Master can enable a culture that first the management will ask the Scrum Master to, to get to know the reason behind that, why it is happening. And then Scrum Master can identify the actual pain point, why this productivity is less in this particular quarter or a particular sprint. So for that, coaching is very necessary. Scrum Master can coach the management to not, doing the micromanagement and don't go and jump into the conclusion based on the data. So that thing is very much necessary. I guess so.
Yeah, I would also tell a similar thing. Like, though it is available, I don't think that management has the time or leadership has the time to sit in for each and every team member and find out the data. So it is us who can still have a judgment on whether I'm putting the data in my dashboard or not. So if I'm not putting the data in my dashboard, then probably my leadership is not going to look at it. They are not going to spend time to sit for each and every team and create a dashboard separately for identifying which team member is performing less. So we do have a role to play there. And as Navarun said, I agree to that. We have to have the culture wherein the leadership team, if they have any questions, we have to have that regular sync with them so that we can be the first person to answer their queries, to let them know the better picture instead of they reaching directly to the team members. So I guess that's all what I would like to say to your question, Rikanko. And as I said, I had some point to say for what Moinak said. I guess you are perfectly right. Agile works best top down. When I say top down, it means that the leadership should be buying in agile mentality first, and then the team, because the mindset shift that we are talking about, it takes more time for the leadership to uh, have that shift than the team members, because team members are usually they do whatever they are said to be done. So it is easier to transform a team than to transform the leadership. But having said that, I also agree that there are certain things which needs specific timeline. So for that, I think we do have different agile frameworks available, right? So I have seen an environment where we have both. We have something that we are developing from scratch and something which has a fixed delivery date. So I guess we can try using a hybrid methodology of maybe Scrum and Kanban or whatever is available to us, and decide which framework actually suits best to the type of work that we are having. So that might little bit solve that problem, that even though we are having a strict deadline, how we approach that with the agile mentality, and for the stuffs that we are delivering from scratch or some new stuffs that we are working on, how to approach that with the uh, agile mentality. And I think Scrum Masters do have a big role to play to influence the leadership, to influence the team on what is the best suited framework that can be used in that based on the type of work that is in. So yeah, that's what I wanted to add. Any other questions? I guess we are already passed out half an hour, almost half an hour of our time. I guess there are none. So thank you everyone for joining, and it was a great discussion today. And if there's one message that I myself can take away from today's conversation, is that AI may accelerate execution, but then transformation still happens one person, one team, and one mindset at a time. The future of Scrum Master is not the keeper of ceremonies, as I say. That should be the first thing that should go off. Rather, the future of Scrum Master is as a change catalyst and someone who helps the team learn faster, adapt faster, collaborate better, stay human while technology accelerates around them. AI will continue to get smarter, no doubt about that. But the real question is whether organizations can become more adaptable. And Scrum Masters do have a unique opportunity to help make that happen. So thank you everyone for joining. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.